One moment. There you go. Hello, beautiful family in the light, of the light, from the light. I'm so delighted to welcome you to today's show on this wonderful, blessed Wednesday, February 1st, this amazing month of February, with a very, very special guest of my heart, of my soul, of my galactic family, sacred brother, Hillis Pugh, to the show. Thank you so much for accepting this invitation and able to be with us today for the audience, sharing your amazing wisdom of your Ascension walk today. So thank you. Welcome, 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 Hillis.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting and I'm just feeling all of this beautiful energy of transmission that is being asked to be shared this day. So I can't wait to share this delightful, delicious energy.
We're about to get into it because it's already starting. Well, we're going to go ahead and do the prayers first because there's going to be a lot of fireworks that you're going to be sharing here. And we totally match together today.
Yes.
I'm so excited. It's always divinely guided. So I can feel the giddiness of all that joyous vibration that's coming in that is going to be shared with the audience. So everybody, let's do what we usually do, put the prayers around it. So let's go ahead and just put our feet flat on the floor, straighten our back. Let's drop these shoulders and place our hands on our heart, everybody. Closing the eyes so that we can dive into the eyes of our heart. As you place your hands on your heart, let us go ahead and take a nice, deep, slow in-breath into your heart space and hold your breath as you connect with that dazzling, crystalline, pure, white diamond light inside. And make that deep connection so your heart knows you are here. And release the breath out of your mouth all the way back out. Let's take another deeper in-breath all the way from this horizontal plane back into that glorious, dazzling, gorgeous, sacred heart space as you hold your breath. Draw your attention downward through your lower chakras, all the way down, passing your Earth Star chakra, all the way down to the center of Sophia Gaia, or crystalline diamond heart, with your heart, with your love, making that connection so she knows you're here, connecting in this vertical axis, and breathe it all the way down. Let us take another deep in-breath from this horizontal plane of axis, all the way into the center of your crystalline diamond dazzling heart. And as you hold your breath with that connection of its love, draw your attention upward through your upper chakras, passing through your soul star chakra, all the way up through the dimensions and planes of consciousness, passing through the great central sun and all the way to the heart of source, making that connection in this vertical axis, and release your breath with your love. And this next in-breath, draw the breath all the way from this horizontal plane, all the way to the center of your crystalline diamond dazzling heart. And in its center that is connected to Sophia Gaia and all the way up to source in this vertical axis, draw it inside in the sphere of light that it is in. And from that beautiful, bountiful space of divine love, breathe it out to all around you, in front of you, behind you, to your left, to your right, to above and below, and pull that breath, push it actually all the way out to your outer field, so you're completely enclosed in this dazzling, glorious sphere of light. And we recognize the sphere of light is our plasma light created by the source of all creation. And all of us are enclosed in it in the most perfect, divine protection and perfection of love. Anything less than this crystalline, clear frequency may not interact in any which way on this card. And we recognize only the purest, only the cleanest, only the most wonderful essence, fully aligned with the heart of our guests, will be shared here in support of your ascension walk on earth. And so be it, and so it is. And let's welcome Hillis Pugh to the show.
How magical.
So good. So good. And it is truly magical, this ascension walk, isn't it, darling?
It is. You know, and what's more magical about this is, you know, in the beginning, with most of us, when we start the process of remembering who we are, we look towards the outside, towards the reflections, towards inanimate objects, towards nature, towards animals, towards things that we can relate to remind us, to help us remember, say, wait, is that me? Wait, why does it seem familiar? And on this journey of living in this external existence, you know, just like Mother Earth herself, we tend to forget about the inner space, because everything we have been taught, that everything is outside of us. You know, this society has ingrained us to always look outside and towards other things and admire other things and covet other things. And it is the wisdom that is held on the inside that matters the most. And I've been on this very enriching plant medicine diet for 4 months now. And it takes a lot of discipline and a lot of balance in that. And the journey inward, I can say, has been the most rewarding. And I say inward, meaning really understanding everything down to the cellular level. Meaning that, yeah, we have an idea, we play with the inner space, yeah, we play with the energies, but we really have a higher understanding of the universe that's living in you. There's a whole other space.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, we started out with this, and I feel you came in this innocence. And isn't it interesting, on this ascension journey, we move away from that innocence. And for a while, it's almost like you're on a highway, you just get off the exit and you don't know why you got off the exit. You've kind of like got separated from the direction, and you go on, and that innocence gets kind of tainted and gets convoluted, gets sometimes even retracted. And at some point, through various situations and encounters, that the direction comes back on, say, that highway. And then suddenly there's that connection back to the innocence that has truly a guidance of the path, that knows the path, because it's so clear, it's so joyous, it's so beautiful and bountiful. And the necessity of those going off the highway, so, those exits you went off to go on a sort of a journey on its own and coming back. And I want to speak to you about that a little bit, because my audience knows this has not been in any way an easy journey, the walk of ascension, because it's been designed for us to go through so many of this. And in your lens of understanding, why do you think that was designed that way? And what is it truly a purpose of it, for it to be that way? Like all those emotions that you get, like, I just want to hear it from your own direct experience.
Well, it's interesting. You used a very important word in this that I want to highlight, and that's the word tainted. And it came to my mind of a poem that I wrote it back in my youth when I was really into poetry, called Tainted. And in that particular time of my life, in my youth, there were things that I thought, we become or have this idea of being tainted or sullied or, improper. But as I got older, and as I'm in this phase of my life now, being almost 50, I'll be 50 in like 3 years.
It gets better. I turned 50 this year. It gets better.
Oh, I know, right? It gets better because you get more knowledge and wisdom. But you ask about, why does it have to be this way? And it's interesting because this is in twofold, because there are two answers to this depending on which generation you speak to. Because those who are from our generation, we walk in this because there's this space of remembering that has to happen. And we have to have these experiences, all experiences, whether you label it good, bad, tainted, enlightened, whatever you describe it, these experiences ultimately lead to the remembering, the knowing of the true essence of the soul. And, the people of our generation, I think it's Gen X, whatever we are, I can't keep up with the terms now, but, we have chosen to go down this path of okay, I'm going to find a psychic teacher to help me hone my abilities. Okay, I'm going to find another energy master to help me to access the energy that's living in me. I'm going to find this teacher for this. And so we have surrounded ourselves with so many teachers for us to allow for the space of remembering. But then, when I have some millennials and some Gen Z friends, and it's just how they see life is so different, because some of them, since they were kids, recall their past lives, and some of them have already tapped into this energetic knowing. And so it is in that respect of where they haven't experienced as much taintedness or hardship or experiences, to where they could just tap in and the energy is readily available to them. And so it's in the understanding of how to manage and utilize the energy for its proper intent. And I think the purpose of us going down this path is ultimately to remember, because every experience, and I've been telling a lot of people this, a lot of my clients, we always define our life by emotions and how we feel. However, the emotions, not the feelings, because there's a difference. The emotions we have are the memories of previous experiences that dictate other future interactions and experiences, which then can hold us back from fully experiencing future experiences.
Yeah. And I love that you made that distinction, because it just so happened majority of the folks on my show since September, I think your guest number 18 or 19, I'm not sure, all of us are this same generation. And it's so interesting. We all have the same awareness that we did come in as a soul in embodiment to kind of break these things up so that these rainbow children and diamond children that came in, they have it much more easier and access without all of these filtrations that we have had to go through, like, and I really look at us like, those beautiful birds when they're flying in the sky, that first one that breaks the wind. I feel so many of us came in, okay, we're going to break this. Because wow, we have to do it that way and go through all of this. So there's a navigation, there's a direct experience, and we're breaking the consciousness that was like this. So it creates space for these, what we call millennium. I have two of them. They are crisp, clear, direct. It is unbelievable. And it's such a joy how much easier that life is. It's so wonderful to be a witness to that they don't have to go through as much of the suffering that we chose to incarnate to go through and resurrect all of those energies into the light.
Yeah, it's fascinating because, with the friends that I have that are younger than I, they have, I can speak to them about conversations like this and they understand, as opposed to some people my generation are older, they're like, huh? So it is in that respect to the energy that we honor that. And so when we allow ourselves to step into the inner verse, the inner knowing, the inner understanding of who and what we chose to be, that's when the magic really begins to happen. And I feel for me, I've been doing this, for 20 years, but the last 10 plus years, maybe like the last 13 years, have really opened up new doors, new avenues of really honoring that and holding that into a higher regard. And so when you talk about the ascension walk, it's more so, people, expect to go see a psychic or go see energy healer and things disappeared, or people take plant medicine and, oh, I'm cured, I'm free from all of this. The answer is no. You just become more aware of the patterns. You become more aware of your experiences. You become more aware of experiences that got you to where you are. And so then you begin to reshape the experiences that you're going to have, or begin to reshape the relationships that you have with other people, and the relationship that you have with yourself, the relationship you have with the Creator and all the universal energies. Is in that process of really beginning to reshape and reform everything in and around you that is more in alignment and that is in your field of resonance, to say, okay, I get it. So that's why the older you get, the more refined and more structured things tend to be. And even right now, being at 46, almost 47 in a few months, that I'm tearing down. I mean, I've, like, the past 4 months, I've literally torn down, well, not literally, but figuratively torn down a lot of old beliefs and systems in myself. And now I'm rebuilding this new foundation on top of it. So sometimes we have to go through a phase of reconstruction,
It's like golden nuggets, a bunch of things you said, like, oh, so just a couple of things. So there's this, it's like there's this homecoming. We come in here, there's a separation, we go through the journey, tumultuous, up, down, everywhere. And then from the outside, we're guided to come back inside. And to come back inside, and as we're getting, these stepping stones, we're getting a bit older, the wisdom is coming in, the more we go in, the more we're connecting. And it's kind of interesting because as we get older, we're coming back to that true homecoming before we leave the body. So there's that beautiful transition from the garment to that without too much of separation, because we're literally infusing it in this homecoming in here. So it's this becomes this art of descension versus, the ascension to then descending back from here and bringing it in that relationship. So we're in the month of February. February is all about relation, number twos, and all in relations to everything, in relations to all consciousness, all activities, all endeavors. And the walk of ascension becomes very consciously aware of the relationships and the relations that you're in, because it keeps bringing you back points. I found points you back home again, home. And where is that home? And all of these things like, psychics, energy workers, plant medicines, all of them have their purpose. And at some point, they'll all fall on the side because it becomes just that relationship.
Yeah.
You're finding that as well. Like, it's like,
that
the only relationship.
Yeah. I mean, it's very important, very palpable to really understand, because, with the plant medicine and with working with psychedelics as well, you really begin to see, I know it's an overly used cliche, but you get to peel back the onion. You get to peel back all the different layers of your soul essence, because now a lot of people are talking about, what's my ancestral lineage? I got to clear this generational stuff, and I got to clear this out of my body, got to clear it out of my energy. You know what I tell people when I hear that? I tell them, no, you don't. None of that has to do with you. The only thing that you have to deal with is you. And so in that space of truly understanding who you are, you can go back to what I like to call your soul lineage. I've also heard it called esoteric lineage, which are the incarnations of you. Like, what lives can you access to receive the information that you want? How many lives do you want to go back to? Do you want to go back to or can you connect to all lives in all spaces, in all timelines, in all dimensions? It's possible. It takes a lot of focus to do that, but it's possible so people can really connect to the energy of themselves, of their soul. Because what I have come to realize in my path is that we are abundant of energy, and that only 30% of the soul lives in the physical space. The other 70% is off in the ether somewhere doing its thing. However, when need be, you can call in more energy to support you. But understand that you are just a fraction, just a tiny bit of who you truly are. And when we move inward to see that, to feel that, to know that, it's like, okay, what else you got?
This is why I love these conversations. And 2 points I want to bring out here. Like when I teach this, yesterday we finished 90 days of the biofield alignment meditation. You took part in the presence a year and a half ago. We took it to a whole nother level of embodiment and the biophotonic plasma body, but bringing it into this garment to experience that more of that 70% that we're not consciously in touch with, and begin to hone it and bringing it here. And what's so fascinating is, and I'm going to tie this to plant medicines, like a lot of these things have their purpose, have their focus, have their thing. Yet there's a moment where individuals, when they experience that, which is the allness inside, they recognize it doesn't need it anymore, because they start going through the layer within here without the outside influence. And I want to share this because there, as you know, there is so much use and abuse of plant medicines in there, everywhere. And again, like the quick fix, let me go. And there's this also, we're very aware of many people, okay, because I got to go clean lineage, I got to do this, but that's also a program that they've bought into that is very, to me, if anything, it affects their journey, not in a positive way, because it's, again, leaking energy, because the whole point is come back here to where everything already exists. Okay, you use that, but when you develop also dependent on that, that doesn't, that separates you from that journey. The whole point, you come back here to recognize what already everything is in here. And from here, through that presence that we spoke of, that 7% begins to help you with the energy moving through it, and gives you the inner sights that is no longer needed, because you've opened that door. It's like the doorway of gateway of heaven you open within you. Here you are. Now you can access it. You no longer need it. But this is a very interesting thing that it becomes quite the conversation with. I'm so glad you brought it up, because you grasp that, and so many still don't grasp it. We see them tumble and tumble and tumble, and then hooked and hooked. And then if anything, then they're filled with entities because they never found their grounding, versus that inside.
Yeah, and it was interesting about this because I remember when I was 18 years old, I dislocated my left ankle. And long story short, I ended up being on morphine for 12 hours because, I had to reset my ankle. And I said, this was at the time when the movie The Crow was popular. It was one of my favorite movies with Brandon Lee. And I didn't know what morphine was. And so, I knew it. Then I figured out, being on it, I knew what it was. And I said, it's like, no wonder people like being high, because you just forget about everything. You don't care about anything. And so how I relate this to plant medicine is that, when we seek the answers, because I've known a couple of people who abused drugs and then turned to plant medicine to get off of the drugs. So it's great, they got off of it. But then also too, some of them turned to it as a crutch, which is okay because they had a habitual habit. But then there are those people, like myself, I've been doing plant medicine for a little over 9 years. And every time I do it, there's another layer to uncover. So it's always with the respect of it. And so I've heard, like you just said, many stories where people have opened themselves so much and they bring in all this energy back, or they're not completely whole once they complete the journey. And that could be due to many number of factors, such as incorrect procedures, or the incorrect shaman, or you just got lost on the journey. And so there are many things that play into this. And so with anyone is embarking on any psychedelic journey, whether plant medicine, mushrooms, anything, it's always to honor that space. Because if you honor the space that called to you, you're honoring the space within you. And like, me doing this data for 4 months, oh my goodness, I've never been so disciplined and so focused on really learning about myself on the inside. I mean, thought I knew who I was. I thought I knew about, my abilities, thought about I knew this. And then I always had goals of things that I want to try and play with the energy and be on this playground and just understand it. But these last 4 months have really taught me I don't know nothing.
It's so interesting. Isn't that also, this is really good for the audience, because you go through these moments and then you hit these plateaus that it almost like stops you, and you step back. It's like, wait a minute. It's almost like as if the software has run itself and there's like a whole new set of software is getting ready to come in, but you got to like clean the software, like open up the space, because when you say, I don't know nothing, there are the things that but this other like octave that's ready to come in, you don't know at all. You're about to remember it in its knowing, but it cannot be remembered from knowing, because the field or the sphere of light that you are in is still sitting. There's a lot of clutter sitting in it, like dust and clutter, and that's why there's this settled feeling or like a plateau for a little while, until, just like sandstorm, right? Like that space, there's nothing. You got to just weigh it out until it passes. Then you start clearing it, and then it's like, wow, there's like a whole new set of lens again. Like it's like almost a new set of eyes. And then there's the excitement of these knowings that start coming online, like literally becomes online, and that is getting ready to show the way again. It's a fascinating journey of discovery. And for people not to get discouraged when you get that, there are things, okay, you maxed it out, here's trophy, fantastic, you got it. There's still so much more.
Yeah, trust me, I feel like I've been in kindergarten, well, preschool, kindergarten, junior high, high school, college. I think I'm like almost in going to get my PhD or something. I don't know, yeah. But in the PhD in the School of Energy, because one of the things that people talk about lately, in the circle of light workers and healers and so on, is oh, you got to activate your DNA. Got to do this whole crystalline work to activate your DNA body. I honor that and wholly respect that, because there's one way to talk about it, because we say that, oh yeah, we are this carbon body and we live this carbon way because that's what Mother Earth is, and when Mother Earth changes, we change, and this whole pattern. And what I am coming to realize that, we are already energy. We are already crystalline energy. It's just our shift of that belief energy, that focus. Because once we change our belief, the DNA follows, the cells in the body follow. Everything, once you change your belief here and you feel it here, the power here in your gut fuels everything for the evolution of self, to evolve into the greater sense of self that you desire to be. It just takes dedication, time, and practice, some of which I've been a little short on in recent weeks. But, when you have the time to sit with yourself, to really know yourself, and I mean really know yourself, I mean, not just, do 5-10 minute meditation, which is beautiful, good way to start, but to really know who Hillis is, really know who HoniB is. And that takes dedication.
It's something so great you said regarding DNA activation and light codes and what have you. For a period of 2 years, I had to go through 8 years under these masters of training with the ascended masters, and to hone it, to bring it, like before I could actually bring it out as an activation, and with the ones that felt the resonance. It was very, very interesting, because the honing of it within what the light codes actually were for it to come online. And if I were to sum the last 10 years with this, for it, again, 8 years of discipline, studying with them before bringing it, like showing me the mechanics of it, the multidimensional of it, the fabrics of it, and all the way it comes to one area, is that within that space, when I would drop in, and I would really drop in to that centralized place, like that sphere of light within that oneness, which we'll go back to that 70%, yes. The real me. That was fully accessible in the fullness of the DNA codings, in the understanding, in the awareness. So it was always accessible, always. Like right now, it's accessible to all of us, except we can't utilize it properly until we are able to be aligned with it, and then from there be able to utilize it. So the mechanics of it is very interesting, because like you said, we are already crystalline being, but in order for crystalline being as embodiment to take this step, that's a whole different consciousness and walk. Then we talk about walk of ascension, because when you come to that place and is activated, because the octaves of light within shifts, you see the same reality differently, which is that crystalline clear becomes accessible. The DNA strands are able to demonstrate that through the coding, then your action and choices become very different. And I found it to become so simplified, Hillis, and I feel you're in the same place, like literally at a grocery store, buying my groceries, or going to the back, and becomes that interaction where the smiles are meeting or the eyes are meeting, and you can literally like see, feel, sense the visceral experience of that crystalline and that fullness in literally here in action, like literally before you.
Yes, the threads, it's the threads that connect us to everything, and so that's the magic of it. And you know, I feel part of the reason why people want to continuously have these experiences, these life experiences, is so that they maintain this level of resonance, maintain this level of connection. However, when you have life, because life happens, you have bills, you have rent, you got to buy groceries, you got to survive. On this planet, there's things you have to do. There's a protocol you have to follow to survive or be present on this planet, and that gets so much in the way and creates a so convolution of life that we tend to forget. Even myself sometimes tend to forget, what am I supposed to be doing? Is this part of my experience? How am I? So it's like you get caught up in the minutia of everything else around you. And so and this is one of the reasons why I feel people like to go off in nature and go hiking, I think, because they are free from the convolution of every day, so they can truly have the experience that we get to connect with almost on a daily basis for people who have dedicated themselves to this.
Yeah. And also I feel for audience to know, even when you get convoluted, things come up. Like the last 3 days, certain things came up for me, very, very interesting. And it was so incredible to like navigate it, very experiencing the impact of it that came with the crystalline field. And then, wow, being observant of it, interesting, and seeing the emotions going into energy and bringing up the feelings that wanted to be met, that had nothing to do with now, that had to do with the somewhere in my experience that was now ready to be loved and embraced, seeing that, and then just watching that and getting a bit wobbly around it, to then raise it up through that power of that love and allow it to transcend back into light. So then the space becomes more clear again. So I feel like a lot of us are learning how to, through this, we're remembering how to breathe as oneness, the way Divine Mother, Divine Father gave us that breath, that they contract and breath, because it's continuously transferring energy, right? It's transferring, it's this perfect system that's constantly clearing.
Yeah.
And remembering it, then the bills, all of those come up. It just moves us out of that continuous like this into the breath of trust and faith and relaxation. You know, it's such an interesting, like the waves of
yeah.
or how you call that beautiful animal with the tentacles?
Octopus.
The other one, the beautiful one that stings also. I forget the name. It's like I don't remember the
tentacles that sting. I don't know that one.
Jelly.
Oh, jellyfish.
Yeah. I forgot the English name.
Yeah.
Gracious, right? And that's that. You and I are very connected to Lemurian energy. The Lemurian it's just that breath. That breath becomes everything.
Yeah, and it's funny that you mentioned that because I don't know why. I usually don't bring this on interviews, but
Let me see.
So I have my book of light codes that I have that have been downloaded to me. And there's a project that I'm working on with somebody to help bring this to other people who are wanting. So if people want more information about this one I'm going to show you, or any other ones that I'm going to eventually be working with people to bring to the forefront. But this one in particular, I don't know if you guys can see that. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, so that one there is the short definition of that one in particular is to assist with universal creation, to assist with the divine flow of creating newness for yourself, for the planet, whatever the intent is behind it. And it's beautiful because I learned with Rebecca, how to translate light language, because I know a lot of people who speak it, but the same people who speak it often don't understand it. And so I have allowed myself to become a universal translator. So when people speak light language, I can understand it on the vibrational level and then translate it into English. But what I find fascinating about light language is that, and then maybe it's just me, is that how we enunciate the syllables and bring this language forward to draw in a particular frequency. But however, when I then allow myself to translate it into English, it's a bit more condensed. People can understand the meaning of it. It's not, this long drawn out message. It's more like, whoop, there you go. Understand it. You're done with it. No more needs to be said.
I'm glad you brought that up, because the way, for example, when I speak it, I'm seeing the sound and the movement of the language and the body of knowledge. So when I speak it, I don't know if you experience it, I see like the movement, the language, and the sound of it, and what the message is it becomes the body of knowledge.
Yeah.
It's light. It becomes very simplified and concrete, boom, like drops in like a block of boom, knowledge, just like that. And it drops in. So I get to experience it that way. And so the translation from understanding that comes in, it becomes from that direct knowing it. It's not you, I don't know, it's not you consciously trying to translate. It becomes a concrete knowing, boom, right away. Like The best I can say, it's like a golden block. Boom,
Here
here
you
it is.
go. Yeah, it's like the present, and here's the
Yeah,
present. Yeah.
that's
It's interesting.
it.
Yeah, here you go. But what I find fascinating is that I don't speak light language that often because for whatever reason that hasn't been my mission with it because I have access to a library
Yeah,
of symbols.
yeah.
And it's so funny because I was doing my microdose of mushrooms the other day, and I was watching something on television. It was very interesting. And I find the most relevant wisdom in cartoons or adult cartoons,
Mm.
and they were talking about the elements, earth, air, wind, water. And I was like, wait a minute, these are the only things in the universe that defy any laws. There are no laws for the elements. When I was like, wait, the elements live in me because my cells are electric, that's fire, that's heat. My blood and other chemicals, that's water, in me. The outside, the protective layer is earth, that's the skin. And the oxygen, the lungs, and the oxygen moving through my body, that's air. So I have all four elements living in me. And then, of course, if you want to take it to the next level, the spirit, which is all, the embodiment of that. And I'm like, wait a minute. And I'm going through, my book of symbols, not the one I just showed you, but my book of alchemic symbols. And I'm like, wait, these are archaic symbols. These are old symbols. You have earth, air, they're all separate. I'm like, no, there has to be something. There has to be something that brings them all together. And so this is what happens sometimes at night. I ask a question, and this is kind of a rough draft. It's not done. But I
Mm.
often ask, like, there has to be a symbol
Yeah,
for for these symbols, for
yeah.
all of them to be together as one.
Mm.
And I got shown what it is. I'm like, okay, I have the symbol. Now what's the word of it? How do I say this?
Yeah.
And so then it showed me this
Uh,
guy.
oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah.
So funny you say that.
So it's the embodiment of all the elements
Yeah.
together. And I'm like, this is what I need. And so I can't wait to start working with that one. Actually, I'm going to have that one tattooed on me.
Yeah. It's so, this is what I love about this. You and I are so frequency wise, like, a couple of days ago in the meditation group with the biofield alignment meditation. So we go through it 30 minutes and it's very specific with the breath. We got to clear everything. Then we enter the actual biosphere body and the plasma, and we get to have a lot of experiences in there. Within this is 5 months for me every single day in this space. Just that devotion, and you discover more, you discover more, you discover more. So when I was inside the experience of the gel substance of the plasma, like literally inside of it, I got to see within this is also the combination of the Atlantean and Lemurian energy merging in its oneness, which is centralized here. I got in this place where I dropped in my heart, the actual physical heart, and I saw the 4 chambers. And you know how we have our arms here and we have our feet here? So that symbol you're showing was very much what was shown to me, where the earth, water, fire, and air is inside through the chambers of the heart. But look at your symbol. It looks like a freaking, like there's that heart energy.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's what I saw inside as a symbol of literally what this heart is, that contains these 4 elements in it that gives us the experience of the human garment form and spirit, literally
Yeah.
covered in this plasma that we don't even know is there.
Exactly. Yeah. And so I can't wait till I actually really finish it. And I can't wait till I have it tattooed on me,
Yeah.
because it's the energy when I just look at it, it's like this
Yeah.
is the oneness of the energy that expands and has no rules, because the elements defy all known scientific,
Absolutely.
energetic rules. This, because I mean, you can't contain these elements. These
Um,
elements are life itself, and
and
with them together,
together, and they
yeah,
work completely. That's why we're completely. That's why we're off when we are not like we're kind of like off when the elements inside are not dancing with each other, or merging in that wonderfulness with each other. You know.
yeah, I love it. Yeah, so I was meant to draw, and actually that happened over the weekend. So it was meant to be shown and with you for today.
Yeah, obviously. And of
Yeah,
course, that goes even more because I'm gonna, as we wrap this up, because you're the first guest on that starts this February with our private ministry. You're one of the global directory individuals, part of our healers network too. So it's just so I was so looking forward to this, Hillis. Like, because this is exactly that testament when we're coming, we're bringing, we're collaborating in that knowledge, data file with each other. And those who come online are watching this right now, somewhere inside of them pops in those like little pockets of light. So something becomes available online for them that they will have access to. And that's why this show is all about that. So we get to share from direct experience and not at all tell anybody what to do, but have
no,
experience. Like, you find your break. Here's our experience. Here's what we discovered. Here's where we fell. Here's where we rose, and
no. I love that, because I just actually just finished talking to my one of my students who is almost ready for her Lemurian or Syrian Lemurian attunement.
yeah,
And I was telling her, well, this is, what my teacher did, but this is what I did.
yeah.
And, you're going to have your own different way of doing things. I mean, and so this is what I like about, let me rephrase that. This is what I love about having the experience here, because everybody is that's in the same field of resonance, like you and I and my students and my teacher and other masters. We all have the same wave pattern. So we're all in the similar frequency, similar vibration, but it may just be off by just 1/10 or like just a fraction. But we all are on the same wavelength, on the same direction. It's like, yeah, this is what's good. Yeah, let's try this. So it's like we're all playing in this field of energy to really find what's resonating with each of us. And I think that's what makes this whole collective experience a beautiful one, because there's no one way to do any one thing.
So, like the image I always have, Hillis, my love, is all of us, as you said, as we're dancing with these, it's this continuum, but we are inside the giant, freaking enormous God DNA. We're each part of it as this is happening inside of us, but we are all in it in that spiral. And it's not, so that's how a lot of times I feel like this cosmic dance when we all come together. It's like, there's always this feeling like
Yeah.
we're dancing around each other, like nucleus and the photon
Mhm.
particles.
Mhm.
And that's why, like, you and I can feel that my photonic light body is dancing because of the interaction. And there's that innocence, there's that joy, the natural essence under no influence, because it gets to experience itself in the wholeness. And that is so incredibly enriching.
Yes. 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 I enjoy it so much. I could do this all day.
That's it. I know, all day long. But so as we wrap up, because we can't do this all day long, on to other things. So tell us what's coming up for you. And do you have any events coming up? You have the amazing podcast, The Cosmic Insight, that I've been so honored to be a guest on your show. As
You have to come back. You have to come back.
I would love to organize. I would love to.
Yeah. And so other than the Cosmic Insight, we're also in the midst of also kind of restructuring the show a little bit too. We have a new segment on there called Honoring Space, where we bring on our viewers or guests or whomever to share about 5 minutes or something that they've been holding in and just get it out. But in addition to that, I've just been teaching other people, been doing my energy work. People can find me at my link of all links, which is taplink.cc/Hillis Pugh. There you
and
can
it's going to
find
be on this YouTube video, so they will be able to see it.
And so you guys can go there because if you guys are living in the Fort Myers area of Florida, I do have in-person happy hour healing events where we transform people's trauma, clear that space out. I do virtual events. I do this. Honestly, HoniB, that's something I like doing a little bit of everything.
I know, but I didn't know if there was any specific event that was coming up that they need to know, or I'll put your information in there. And of course, our members with our private association now, they know you're exclusively on there. So there's that other relationship, which I'm so excited about. And thank you for that.
Yeah, and actually I have to update my tabling, but the next event that I have it actually is, I believe, on February 12th. The in-person happy hour healing. So those are like really good. I get to there and I get to play a little bit of satsang music.
That's
for
cool.
People.
And from what time to what time usually?
So it's once a month, every Sunday. It's an hour-ish. So from 11 a.m. to 12-ish p.m. because we always go over, because we have a local sponsor to sponsor drinks for us, refreshments after we do the clearing. So it's a beautiful experience, in-person experience. So if you guys are in Fort Myers, Florida,
you are so close, Michael, and I would love to come to that. So I just have to organize to see when we can.
You guys, and I get to see you guys because we've never met in person.
But it doesn't feel like it.
No.
Are you kidding me? We've been together millions of years.
Right? Exactly. So yeah, I would love that. And it could be like a special thing. I don't know.
Something special because we usually have the monthly program has begun, but we can organize because it would be so wonderful to collaborate with that. I feel that would be just spectacular. So we can.
Yeah. I usually have my phone with me, but I believe it's February 12th is the next one.
Okay, I'll look into it and then I'll find out about March and stuff. So we'll do one of them. That will be so. Thank you so much again. So much for coming on the show and sharing your beautiful energy, your wisdom, your vibration, your truth, which is most importantly about this. So people will know, the audience will just grasp what is then inspired as a truth within themselves. Because here it's all about empowering yourself to you. You have the answers within. You have to open that beautiful lock within yourself. And really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I love you so dearly, and Rebecca as well. So thankful to you. I'm going to put the link here, and I want to thank so much the audience for joining us today. And any questions you have, feel free to post it after the video is live. And most importantly, the Ascension Walk is about sharing. As you know, share the video with your love. If you benefited from it, let others benefit. And also, if other questions you have, put it, either me or Hillis, whoever your address, will answer it for you. And we're very, very thankful for this opportunity to just have this data file sharing with each other.
Indeed, yes.
And any last words, my dear, for the audience before you go?
In honor of my co-creatress, Rebecca Gregory, what she always says is don't limit yourself, create yourself, be the change in you.
Delicious, indeed. Oh, so much love, everyone.
Yes.
Blessed day to you. Thank you so much again.